Well, the White House found their fall guy, and it's not going to work out the way they think it is. Ever since the Washington Post came out with an exclusive story about how Pete Hegseth ordered a double tap on one of the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean, the White House has been scrambling to deny it, to kind of admit to it, to say even if it did happen, they were well within the bounds of the law. But experts on international law, federal law, and the laws of war have all said that, this is not okay. There is no circumstance where a double tap is legal. And Pete Hegseth, he knows this. I know he knows this because he served in uniform. Now, he may have been a weekend warrior, a reservist, but he was an officer. He did make it to the rank of major, so he was doing this for a few years. He knows rules of engagement are bound by federal law, international law, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and our treaties. Now, as someone who served on active duty, I can tell you that this fall guy thing, blaming everything on Admiral Bradley, is only going to make things worse for them. But a caveat that's important before I explain why. Admiral Bradley knows the law. He should have recognized that Pete Hegseth was issuing an unlawful order that Admiral Bradley is legally required to refuse. And everyone down the chain of command, down to the person who was doing the targeting, who actually flipped the switch or hit the button to launch those missiles, they too have legal obligations to reject unlawful or illegal orders. Now, with the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt going and telling the press that, this is Admiral Bradley's fault, it's a name who most Americans had never heard before, it's very clear that they're trying to make him the fall guy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be using his name. They would just be saying the commander. And people throughout that unit, on that ship, if they believe that Admiral Bradley is an honorable man and that he is being made a scapegoat because Pete Hegseth gave a clearly unlawful order and the White House is trying to shift blame from the person who the order came from entirely onto Admiral Bradley, his troops are very likely to close ranks around him, which means that more whistleblowers with direct knowledge of the operation will be coming forward, talking to the press, talking to Congress and other investigators, and the whole story is going to come out. And keep in mind that we're only talking about one strike now. There have been at least 80 people who have been killed by these types of strikes. And I can tell you this much, that whistleblowers with direct knowledge have come to me, and I have been passing them off to congressional investigators. And the whistleblowers that I'm talking to have nothing to do with this strike. So while the White House is making the strategic or tactical decision to throw Admiral Bradley under the bus now, that's not going to be helpful when whistleblowers start going public about the other strikes.